Growing up, like, there was always music being played in my house. Mum and Dad used to play. Those were like 80s soul and that, stuff like that. And my dad and mum always collected records. I remember we moved house a few times, and the things that I always used to go to make sure we had all the records. And I used to be kind of obsessed with like who made the records and stuff. And I used to read the vinyl sleeves, and I always had like a bit of a passion for radio as well. Like, I just loved discovering new music, and that kind of continued into school. And I always wanted to be the guy at school that knew the music before anyone. So if there was a new album out, I was always the one to know what the singles were and who made it and what labels they were on. And I always wanted to know that a little bit more than everyone else. I don't know, I just became obsessed with it. And then like growing up in East London was key to it as well, because like I kind of got into DJing and into kind of playing music out and whatnot at a key time, like that transition between garage and grime. And a lot of people in my area were kind of like, you know, at the forefront of that scene, like, you know, your Wileys, your Dizzy Rascals, like your Roll Deeps, and these were people that I was around. And so when we used to play house parties, like everyone was there, like starting from little, you know, house parties in Bow and Bethnal Green, like you'd have Wiley in there, Dizzy, and you know, they're all people obsessed with music, and everyone of my generation was like doing something in music, whether it was a promoter, an MC, an artist, like everyone was doing something. And yeah, so it was easy to kind of like have my passion spin from a hobby into something that I'm doing now. And the journey began then, really. Yeah. Like, you can have a career in the industry. There are roles to play if you don't want to be an artist and whatnot. So kind of being informed and really kind of researching what I want to do, like, and if my skill set matched different things. And the other thing I'll say you should do is, like, as much as work experience and all those other things are good, make sure you have something that you create that proves your talent somewhere, somehow. If someone says you're good at something, how are you demonstrating it? How are you demonstrating it? Like, if you're telling someone that you're really good at doing this and doing that, you've got to have somewhere you can point to, be it a site, be it a product, somewhere that shows that, yes, you are. Like, when I was in my first year at uni, I did a mixtape called Split Mic, and it was like a compilation of artists at the time that were coming through. So it's Kalashnikov, Kano, Roll Deep, Estelle, Shiesty, and me and a group of friends, like, we recorded exclusive material with all of these artists, and it ended up doing really well. As in, a lot of like labels and A&Rs were looking at artists in that scene at the moment. They used that CD as a place to kind of find a lot of artists, and it kind of proved a couple of things. It proved that I knew my music. It proved that I knew who was hot and who was next. So I had something tangible to point towards that kind of showed my talent and my passion. So I think that's really important. You've got to have something that you can show the world. Yeah. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small. It doesn't have to be, you know, expensive. It doesn't have to be something that costs a lot of money. It can be a site. It can be a tape recording if you're doing radio of your voice. It can be. But you have to have something that shows your talent. Like, you can't just say you're good at something. You've got to prove it on some form of level.
Yeah. And what would you say to do with that? Like, how do you find out the right type of people to send that to?
You know what? People underestimate the power of the internet, man. And I was lucky in that. Like, I always ended up knowing people who knew people who knew people. But then my thing is, if you don't know people who know people who know people, get to know people who know people who know people. Be at the places where things happen. Be at the spots where, you know, the music or the scenes that you're passionate about the people collect from us and collect, you know. In all honesty, if you've got a passion for something, you're always drawn to it. Yeah. So you'll find out because you want to be there. If you're really into a certain genre of music, you'll make sure that you'll know the sites that are experts on it. You know the DJs who provide it for you. You'll know, where to find it. And then sometimes you've got to question yourself and ask if you're not putting that effort in to do those things, do you have a real passion? Are you doing it for the right reasons? Yeah, you should recognize the